I wanted to do a little video on Cliffy B's new shooter, Lawbreakers. And all I can think of when I see this is like, what the fuck are you doing, Cliffy? The first thing I thought of when I saw this game for the first time after Cliffy's long hibernation there was, okay, this is what you've been working on this whole time, Cliffy. Unreal Tournament. That's what it is. It's Unreal Tournament. How uncreative. That was one of Epic's first games. Cliffy was heavily involved, I guess. Mark Ryan, all those guys. I'm an old guy. I remember Cliffy and back in the day. And I thought he had a spark of creativity, maybe this and that. The Gears of War series is well past its prime now and not really a good series anymore. But, I thought there was maybe a spark of creativity there, I guess. And, so I was not exactly bated breath, but, kind of interested to see what Cliffy comes up with. Can he show that he's some kind of genius maybe now that he's not on his own? Or, what's going to happen? And he comes out with Lawbreakers. And I saw, the reason I'm posting this is there was a topic on NeoGAF about how the unpopular the Lawbreakers beta is, apparently. And I don't know, they compared it to a lot of other betas. Or they compared it to Paladin's beta, I guess, for example. And it was like 80% less players or something in Lawbreakers than Paladins or whatever. The numbers look bad for Lawbreakers, apparently, as far as beta players. And, it just reminded me that, what are you doing, Cliffy? You really went into big hiatus and you came up with your team, and this was your big game on your own as an independent, and you came up with Unreal Tournament. It's 2017, bro. I don't think Unreal Tournament's going to get it done. Well, why would you play Cliffy B's Lawbreakers when you can play Overwatch? That's got a huge corporation behind it, so that's automatically gives it tons of marketing muscle. It gives it tons of players who are automatically going to be interested in anything Blizzard does. You automatically got the Blizzard name, so you got the sheen of quality. People know it's going to be quality. You've got probably, goodness knows how many developers are working on Overwatch, 500 or something, I'm going to assume. And so and Cliffy B's going to come out with something that kind of looks like Overwatch to me in art style anyway. And, and that, you think you're going to beat Overwatch or something? Is that what you think? Or, or to me, Destiny, that's what I play all the time is Destiny. And Destiny did so many neat new things. You got the melding of PvE and PvP. You got basically the first time an MMORPG was kind of done as a FPS. A lot of people will say, "Oh, Warframe did it." No, Warframe didn't do all the same things Destiny did. Stop lying. Yes, every single game that comes out in 2017 is going to have, it's going to build on other games. So Destiny did build on other games, but it also took a lot of things to the next level, like raids. Warframe didn't have raids. Cooperative 6-man raids. But look at the incredible amount of new stuff, for example, that Destiny was doing. And then look at Lawbreakers. I think even years ago they tried to relaunch, maybe 5 years ago or something, Carmack and id, they tried to relaunch Quake as a game. With Quake Live, I think it was a web browser shooter, and it fell flat. And I think there was another one, I'm trying to think, but basically the market's has been telling people for a long time that arena shooters aren't where it's at. You can't do just an arena shooter anymore. You've got to have massive social hooks like Overwatch and Destiny, and So to me, I look at Lawbreakers and I'm like, what is this? It doesn't have the best graphics in the world, obviously. It's, what are you doing, Cliffy? Nobody's going to want this. And, okay, what really pissed me off about Cliffy, though, is recently I saw some of his interview on at E3, and he was sitting there talking shit about Xbox fanboys, and it really pissed me off. Granted, I am an Xbox fanboy, but for him to sit there and fucking be like, oh, Xbox fanboys, man, they got something up their ass. Is this guy an idiot? You know, I can't accept that. I go on the internet every day, and every fucking video of gaming that I watch practically is chock full of 1,000 Sony fanboys for every one Xbox fanboy. And this idiot's gonna sit up there and talk about Xbox fanboys? I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable, you know? Here's what I hate. You know, you have 1,000 PlayStation fanboys for every one Xbox fanboy on the internet, and here's the common response you get about fanboys when you point out what Sony fanboys are doing. Oh, well, you know, there's fanboys. You know, fanboys are gonna be fanboys. There's fanboys for all consoles. No, there isn't. You know, it's not the same. Sony fanboys are by far, objectively, this is not an opinion. Objectively, they're by far the most zealous, the worst, the most destructive to gaming fanboys out there. So don't come and tell me, oh, Xbox fanboys got a bug up their ass for some reason. You know, that's just telling me you're an idiot. That's like these people that go up there and say, oh, the media is biased towards Donald Trump. Like, are you insane? Every single media outlet pretty much in the United States bashes Trump 24/7. And that's objective fact. It's not an acceptable opinion to say otherwise. You can be a liberal, you can have your liberal bias. You can say, oh, you know, I'm a liberal, but I understand the media is biased, but I think it should be biased because I'm a liberal. And okay, that's a reasonable opinion. What is not reasonable is to get up there and say the media is not liberal biased, or even worse, the media is conservative biased. Okay, that is not a reasonable, rational opinion. You are not a reasonable, rational human being if you're out there saying that. Period. There's not debate over this. This is why, like, Nate Silver for 538 is an insane person. You know, Nate Silver is smart as hell. He's so good at math, I'm sure. He's Jewish, which, you know, call me racist, whatever. They're the most intelligent race, generally. You know, you look at all the physicists. Go look at the Alamo Project that made the nuclear bomb. They were all Jewish, you know. And yeah. So Nate Silver, I like listening. I love his election stuff to a point. You know, I really almost could consider myself a fan of the guy. I'm not a fan of him, but you know. But I have to say, he's an insane person. He pretends. I don't believe he really thinks this, because there's no way you could really believe this. But he pretends that the media is actually like right-wing biased somehow. You know, and that's not an acceptable opinion. That's not an acceptable opinion, period. You know, that is not acceptable. That's like trying to say gravity doesn't exist. That's not an acceptable opinion. Same thing with trying to say, you know, the earth is flat. No, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable, you know. And trying to say the media isn't liberal biased. No, that's not rational. That's not reasonable. That's not reasonable. People can disagree. That's unacceptable. That's false, period. Okay, so same thing with what Cliffy B said. It's not acceptable to say, oh, Xbox fanboys got a bug up their ass, when you can go anywhere on the internet and there's hordes of PlayStation fanboys denigrating every other console, especially Xbox, that their lives revolve around Xbox. You know, I mean, I'll forever remember a few years ago I went on a video, it was about freaking Game Boy, and some idiot left a comment about, well, it's still got better graphics than Xbox. And it was the most upvoted comment. You know, it had like 50 thumbs up, and no other comment had more than like 10. It was on a video that didn't mention PlayStation, it didn't mention it. You know, it was like a Game Boy Advance video. And these PlayStation fanboys are still, you know, spitting on it, ruining it, you know, making it, oh, Xbox sucks. You know, on a video that's completely unrelated. So yeah, I mean, to sit there and equate Xbox fanboys as the problem, like Cliffy did, get the fuck out, Cliffy. It's not acceptable. You know, you can't pretend you're that blind. No, it's not happening. So yeah, that pissed me off about him. Man, I don't know what's wrong, but I've had a real throat soreness lately. I think I'm even losing my voice during this video. But yeah. So that really ticked me off. Really, really ticked me off. I would try Lawbreakers. I mean, even if he wants to not put it on Xbox, that's fine. But to come out and make these comments, Xbox fanboys got a bug up their ass. Shut the fuck up, Cliffy. You know. And me, as an Xbox owner, I would have been interested in Lawbreakers. I remember Cliffy. I would have tried it. Now, like I said, I think the reasons the game's not going anywhere are the reasons the game's not going anywhere. They're not. Okay, if he'd put it on Xbox and PC only, I don't think it would really make a difference or make the game do better. I'm not trying to say, man, if you put this on Xbox, it'd be popular. But, I mean, putting it on PS4 obviously didn't get you anywhere, according to the beta numbers. And it's so dumb because how can you believe him? He says, we're going to just focus on. Like, the thing is, the PS4 and the Xbox are so close in capability that it's very easy to port between one and the other. They're almost the same fucking machine. They got the same CPU, So it's hard for me to believe that he just, why would you do a game on the PS4 only? He said because it had higher install base. Well, yeah, but it's not nearly as much as the numbers would lead you to believe. And Xbox players are more active game buyers. They buy more digital downloads, all that stuff. But yeah, that just I just have to say, what is going on, Cliffy? After all these years, you come out with Unreal Tournament. Okay, Unreal Tournament was cool. One, I played it in 2004 or 2001. Yeah, that game was awesome on PC back then. That was one of my favorite games of all time. Was the first Unreal Tournament. Man, that was an awesome game. And I remember had one of my most iconic to me levels. Multiplayer levels ever. It was called Facing Worlds. I loved it. Back then, graphics were still an amazing thing. But yeah, so I don't know what Cliffy's thinking with Lawbreakers. Did you bring anything new? I'm sure he's got a laundry list of shit that he's gonna claim, but I don't see it. You gotta come up with something new, Cliffy. What are you doing? He's got wall running. Okay, it looks like it's super mobile. That doesn't really turn me on anyway. Titanfall's been doing that kind of wall running. And so is Call of Duty. Destiny has a lot of mobility in it. So yeah, Lawbreakers and talking shit about Xbox fanboys. No bueno, Cliffy B. I guess you're not much of a gaming genius. You could have made a cool indie game with I don't know what. I don't know what to say. Like, oh, this would be awesome, but something new, something different. And the graphics. The graphics on Lawbreakers are just like as bland as can be. I'll say the same thing about Overwatch. And that's a popular game. I don't like Overwatch's graphics. I don't like that cartoony, bland, cartoony. I don't like cartoony, and I don't like over, I'll give you a perfect example of graphics I don't like is Team Fortress. I just don't like that cartoony style, that like whimsical, I guess, not realistic. It just bugs me. I don't like it. I like realistic and so forth. So yeah, and so I don't know, maybe if you'd have put a realistic art style in there and some more, made it super bloody, or not like, I don't like gore, but I don't know, just something mature, something. I'm just spitballing here. Even as just a straight arena shooter, which I think is a fundamental problem, but even if he'd had some kind of different, interesting art style and locales or something, maybe I would have been more interested. But like I said, as an Xbox owner, I would have, if you gave me a free beta or something like that, I'd try it out. But guess what? I can't. Good going. Good job, Cliffy. I guess I could on my PC, but I assume. But I just recently sold my graphics card because Bitcoin is blowing up. And I found out the video card of my system is worth like $400, and I never use it because I don't PC game much. So I was like, well, I just got this thing sitting here and it's worth $400. Might as well get it. So I did. I sold it. So I don't really have a GPU. I just run my integrated GPU on my Intel CPU right now. I may pick up something cheap, for $120, $130. pretty soon, one of these days. But I ain't in no rush. Yeah, I may try to get something that can play Destiny 2 when that comes out on PC. Although I'm going to get it on console as well. So anyways, that's what I got to say about Cliffy and Lawbreakers. Big fail, Cliffy, big fail.